Warning, what you are about to see in this video should not be tried at home. This was done by an untrained professional and is another lesson on what not to do.
Playing with fire again today. All right, guys, so we are talking about our finishing up our hydrosphere, geosphere, biosphere, atmosphere unit. And we have talked about how humans play an effect on our biosphere. Now, most of the time, I always say humans are not good for our biosphere. We do a lot of dumb things. We're messy. We create a lot of havoc. So we have been researching how humans can manage forests. We've talked about prescribed fire. We've talked about logging, timber stand improvement. Now, with that said, I have to say, part of this is going to be that it's going to depend on what your goals are for your timber stand. Neither is necessarily right or wrong. I definitely have an opinion that I think is better because my goal is driven by wildlife. I want as many animals on our farm as we can possibly get because I'm a hunter. I enjoy nature watching and enjoy seeing lots of animals, watching them benefit and giving them, better habitat to live in. So you may like going for walks in the woods. So opening the canopy of a forest or burning to stimulate new growth to restart that succession is going to make a forest that is pretty hard to walk through because it's a lot more sunlight on the forest floor is going to bring a lot more plants. You're going to have early successional plants. You're going to have thorns and briars. It's going to be thick. Where a woods that is more shaded and canopied is going to create a more park-like setting where you can see a long ways through the woods, not as much cover on the ground, which I always say is like if you took your dinner plate and put it up on your roof, if you're trying to encourage animals that live on the ground, they don't have as much to eat because their browse are those woody plants that are down at this height or below. So it really depends on what your goals are. No real right or wrong answer. I don't want to try to steer you too far to the opinion that I have, even though I probably subconsciously do that because of the style of outdoor recreation on my farms that I enjoy. But we do have millions of acres of land that the national parks take care of. Now, I will say that I didn't realize that there is a good amount of logging in some parts of national parks. There also is prescribed fire that is used in national parks. But what I wanted you guys to do was research what you thought, how these national parks should be taken care of. Because I like the looks of pretty woods. I have an area on our farm that I don't cut hard and I don't burn it. And, I can see a long ways through it. It's pretty, it's easy to walk. I can take my dogs in there. But most of my farm is pretty hard to navigate because it's thick and has a lot of cover on the ground for animals to hide and food and whatnot. We also have logged our farm, and I've told you we made money off of it, and it didn't make sense to just let a big mature tree die. If it was to the end of its life, we might as well take it, make some money, and let the next generation of succession fill in. So you guys have been researching that. I made a little thing here just because I wanted to play with fire that is going to show over here on this side, this forest is a very thick forest that's never been logged, never been burned. The fuel load is there from, 100 years of leaves piling up, leaf litter, dead logs, dead trees standing that have died that are super dangerous. And then this side of the forest has been improved, burned, logged, select logged, not clear cut logged, and you see they're scattered out more. So I'm going to light this and hopefully it works. That's been a lot of time putting these matches in. You can see there's a couple of homes. No, there's just one home, I lied. But there's a home in here. There's a little guy standing in there. But you can see, maybe, I'll probably have to switch the angle of the camera. I'm gonna do that now. This is a better view. So you can see where the forest has been improved. Now, this is a little bit drastic. That stem count is crazy high, but it's going to represent the dead trees that are on the ground, the dead trees that are standing, and also the living vegetation. And it would also depend on how dry the time of year is, but we're gonna say the wind is gonna be blowing this way, and this is our area that has been thinned. So I'm gonna light this, and we're gonna see what happens. Stay tuned.
we are going to pretend that somebody is having a campfire, all right, and they light a match and they just light a small fire over here, and then it blows and it lights this one on fire. It was at this moment that Mr. D realized he may have messed up. Way bigger than I anticipated. Sorry, I wasn't really on there very good because the fire is way, way bigger than I thought it would be. But what happened to the fire when it got to the area that has been managed? Okay, the house is melting, the dude's on fire. Mr. D is no longer terrified he's going to burn the building down. Those matches were probably a little too close. So this is another lesson in what not to do, kids. Now, one of my trees in my zone that was managed did not burn, but you can see the fire stopped when the fuel load was taken away. All right, the fire stopped, and I think that is what would happen with forest fires. My house is melting. My guy is singed. But with these drastic wildfires we're having, I think that they would greatly be minimized if, you know, in big sections of national forest, if we would burn more often and eliminate fuel loads in there by either harvesting trees. I think we would see this a lot more. The fires would get to areas like this and would slow down or stop, and they wouldn't be as drastic as they used to be. Native Americans used prescribed fire. They were huge proponents for it, and I don't know, I just think it's something that is very, very valuable, and I'm gonna blow out that house because it's putting black smoke out. I don't wanna set the fire alarms off, which I especially don't wanna set off the sprinkler system, although that would also be legendary. So I think it's important to do, and this shows that when it gets to that area where there's not as much fuel, it slows down.